Okay, this is Danny. This is Scare Talk. I am Danny, and I'm
Danny
here
Thompson
with I'm here with confused Katrina,
Yeah.
and we've got just a little confused Joel.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely confused, Danny.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is gonna be a fun one to review.
We are loopy.
So we are here to review a brand new film. We got a screener for this. Thank you to Strike Media for sending that over so we could check this one out. It is called Things Will Be Different.
They will be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This premiered, I believe, at South by Southwest, according to what I can tell. So pretty big festival.
Yeah.
We'll see how it is. Joel, can you tell us who is a part of it?
All right. So I only have 2 names for this because on IMDb there was like 6 people listed, but really there's 2 people in this movie. So this one stars Adam David Thompson. He was in A Walk Among the Tombstones, which was a Liam Neeson movie. 6 episodes of Outsiders and Glass.
Oh.
And we got Riley Dandy, who we have actually had on this channel before. She was in A Kiss on Candy Cane Lane,
No.
A Hollywood Christmas,
Oh.
and Christmas Bloody Christmas.
That's who she is.
Yeah.
I was like, I recognize this girl. Okay. She's like the main character.
She's Tori.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the main character. This was written by Michael Felker. He wrote Would You Like to Try Again, which was a short, Save and Continue, which was also a short, and 22 episodes of Ruin the Internet Comedy, which I don't never heard of that one either.
Okay.
This was also directed by Michael Felker, who directed 21 episodes of Ruin the Internet Comedy, Save and Continue, and Would You Like to Try Again. So.
Would You Like to Try Again? I wonder if that is what inspired this film.
This one?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
I feel like I could
maybe
bet that's
could be the short for this.
Yeah.
That does make sense.
Okay. Well, that was quick. So we got the synopsis.
Yeah.
In order to escape police after a robbery, 2 estranged siblings lay low in a farmhouse that hides them away in a different time. There, they reckon with a mysterious force that pushes their familial bonds to unnatural breaking points. All right.
Okay. I had a very different description.
Oh. Well, this hasn't been out for too long, but as I said, it was at other festivals, so there are some reviews out there.
Yep.
So, Katrina, can you tell us what the critics, mainly, I would imagine, are saying about this?
The critics give it an 82% on the tomato meter. It's a fresh tomato.
Wow.
There is no popcorn meter.
How many reviews on there?
45 reviews from the critics.
Wow. All right.
Wow. That's a good score for that many.
Yeah. And then IMDb gives it a 5.1.
Yeah, and that's probably just general audience score.
It's only 373 reviews still.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah,
because on IMDb that score is like the general audience.
Yeah.
Anybody can score on that.
Okay, so there we go. 5.1 or an 84.
I mean, this does
critics
kind of
like it.
This does kind of feel like more of a critics type of movie than so that one can still kind of surprised by how high it is, but it makes more sense that number would be higher than the IMDb number.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so typically we, do the review and then we have spoilers on Patreon. But since this is a screener, we're gonna go ahead and go through all of it here. And we'll do our review. Then we'll tell you about spoilers after our rating. We'll announce, spoiler alert.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk a little more deeply about it, hopefully. Joel, I'm expecting you to explain this entire film
Oh, great.
to us. So
Awesome. Forward to
that was your job. I don't know if you were aware of that, but
I was not.
Yeah. So right off the bat, make sure you like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to our channel. Send us a comment. We will reply. Yeah. So, get that out of the way.
There you go.
So this one for me was confusing, obviously. It was kind of hard to track. I thought it was well acted.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was well shot. Like, it was very professional. Like, this is a, competently made film.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the characters, I guess. It was just the plot was a little out there. A little hard to follow. And I'm not sure how much I like it due to that. I don't know that I liked the plot or that I cared enough to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I'll stick with that for now.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
Katrina?
It wasn't as like, I didn't mind it as much as like some other kind of sci-fi. Like, I like this kind of sci-fi better than like the alien sci-fi and the I don't know, like creature sci-fi, I guess. I feel like anytime there's like other dimensions or other time, time travel or different areas you have to keep track of, you get really confused. And I like to kind of piece it all together.
I like to, but
you get too lost and stuck.
Yeah, I don't like Tenet.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking of, is like, and there wasn't even as much of that.
I was able to
like
follow
that.
this a lot better
Yeah.
than Tenet.
Yeah. But I didn't mind that part. I think I don't know. It was like they had added some like background information about the characters and like did some character development and stuff, but I wasn't like invested enough in the characters that I had like this excited feeling or like anxious feeling or anything throughout the movie. Like, I kind of wanted to have more sitting on my edge during the movie. And I just didn't care about him enough to have that. And I think part of that was like, there was one time where it did this big switch, like a big time gap. And I feel like that like threw me off. Like, okay, like now I feel like I'm relearning them again. And it threw it off for me. I also I felt like some of the parts that were supposed to be like big twists, I felt like was kind of, I was picking up on it and like kind of guessed a lot of this stuff ahead of time. And so it was like, oh, okay, yeah. But it wasn't that big a deal to me.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted more answers about the specific things. Yeah. Other stuff we'll talk about in the spoilers.
Yeah. We're going to explain this movie completely.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Joel, let's hear it.
Oh, man.
All right,
Not
Joel,
the spoilers.
What'd you think?
Yeah, I was also confused for a good portion of the movie. I don't want to say that I caught on to what was going on, because I don't want that put on me as like having to say everything. I feel like it's a movie that can be up to interpretation.
Sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be one way or another.
Yeah.
So there's a quote right here by Collider. You want to rewatch it as soon as it ends. Maybe not as soon as it ends, but I do want to watch it again. To see exactly what's going on. I do love those type of movies because it basically forces you to watch it again. And it's kind of like watching a whole different movie because you can like piece things together more and make it more coherent movie. I'm not saying that this isn't coherent at all, but it's just making it make more sense. I think the actors are really good in this movie. And yeah, it was shot really well as well. And yeah, it's definitely one that I'm going to think about because there's quite a bit that I don't fully understand with it. And that's fine. I don't have to understand every movie that I watch. I like to, but that's the beauty of what rewatching movies. And I'm glad I'm the type of person that will rewatch movies because some people just refuse to.
True.
I've never understood those people, but yeah. So, I liked it. I thought it was a well-made movie, and yeah, I just I don't know what else is to really say here because I mean we'll talk about it in the spoiler section, but also like I don't know what else is there to really say in
right.
That's the movie.
Already.
It just kind of leaves you in a state of okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
huh, okay.
I would recommend people watch this movie. It's not a bad movie. It's not poorly made or anything. So I'm definitely recommending it. But for people to keep an open mind that they're probably going to be confused.
Mhm.
And
I
so
feel like the characters kind of, especially the male character, kind of understood things quickly.
Yeah, he did. There were
where it was like talking about the right and the left and in the middle, and like he understood that. I didn't understand any of that, but he like seemed to get it right away, and I was like, "How did you come up with that? And what does that even mean?" I don't know.
I have a theory about that I just thought about, which we'll talk about in the spoiler section.
Yeah. Okay.
About that particular, because I was thinking that too. I was like, he knows quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. I can see why maybe he would know things.
Well, yeah, definitely. And I think that's also why he was questioned. And he was the one who was given the information about the place.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's a movie that you just kind of have to watch and accept.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of information that you're not given going into it and throughout. You just kind of have to try not to answer too many questions because you're not going to be able to.
Yeah.
At least not definitively. You might be able to come up with your own,
critics seem
answers.
to know what's going on. They're 82%.
Yeah. So this reminded me of a better version of this type of thing called Triangle. Which is very good and definitely more horror than this. This is I don't know that I would call it horror. It's categorized as horror.
Yeah.
Horror, sci-fi, thriller. But it's very weak, I would say, on the horror side of things.
Yeah, I would say it is not horror.
Yeah. So, you know, it is what it is. We're a horror podcast, so if it's categorized, we will.
Yeah, we will watch it. Yeah.
And we're going to be reviewing another couple of movies coming up here that are definitely not categorized as horror, but we will be talking about it.
They're not categorized as horror.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we will.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what do you guys
spoilers.
think? Should we rate it? Let's rate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna rate it first.
Yeah,
Katrina,
go ahead.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna give it a 76.
Okay, Joel.
So rating this is tough because like what I was saying, it's very well made. Like everything is done right in this movie. It's just you know, it's just a little complex, and I don't want to rate it down because of that, because on a rewatch it could make more sense. So because of that, I'm gonna give it a straight 80, because it's a, you know, I'm gonna rewatch it because I want to see I want to be able to tell what's really going on in this movie. So
okay,
all the way through.
I'll go 75. It's decent. You know, there's nothing really wrong with it necessarily. I don't know that I'll care to watch it again. I don't know that I care enough to watch it again. But you know, it's kind of one of those movies where it's like, okay, cool. You know, that was a interesting, you know, thing. And I can see why, you know, this would be at a film festival.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something that the studio wants to kind of get some attention on and get reviews out on, because it is kind of an interesting movie. It's not your run of the mill, you know, type of film. So I give them credit for that for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I didn't give it anything more than a 76, because I don't care enough to watch it again. I don't feel confused enough to want to watch it again. I feel like I can piece it all together. And the only part that to me is, I don't know if it's as much confusing as, okay, so I just buy that, I guess. Like the sci-fi aspect of it. I think it's just something that you just choose to buy, like that this is a possibility. But aside from that, I don't know. It's like I don't want to call myself confused. It's just like, oh, okay. Okay. Like, and we'll talk about it in spoilers and be able to piece some things together. I think as we all three talk, we'll piece even more together. And then it's like, okay, there we are.
Move on.
Maybe your grade, maybe your grades will go up.
Maybe.
As we talk about it.
I don't know. I don't think a 76 is bad. It's like, it was like a decent movie. The acting was good. If the acting wasn't good, it definitely would have gotten a way lower score. But like, it was enjoyable to watch because the actors were good.
It wasn't like, it didn't look cheap,
and it had like good story. So
all right, cool. So you know, pretty good movie. You know, recommend go check it out, see if it's your thing or not
whenever it's released.
I think it's currently you can rent it on Prime right now.
Prime. Okay.
It's in theaters in some places, maybe in the UK, I think I saw. So
all our UK
however
followers.
You want to watch this, go ahead and do that. Now we're going to get into spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you want to, you know, come back and check out the spoiler talk.
So,
all right, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Pew, pew, pew.
All right. So we have a movie about people going, you know, getting a bunch of money. I think it was $7 million.
Did they
robbed
say
something? Well, he said 7, so
Oh.
I'm guessing that was because it was 7 million. They robbed something. I'm guessing a bank or something, and they hide out in this home, and kind of in the boonies,
middle of
and
nowhere.
go into this like closet. They had to do this like whole combination thing on the clock, which was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was.
And they had to read something in the closet and, do all these different things to then come out of the closet in a different time. So like in the past or in a different dimension, it doesn't really say. And they have to wait there for 2 weeks.
It did say a different time.
A different time. But like,
it doesn't say
in the past,
it's a different
in the future?
Yeah. But it's not a different dimension.
Okay. Different time. They had to wait for 2 weeks, and then they could, I imagine, go back into the closet.
I think it was past because you said we have to wait for time to pass in their time.
Okay.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It could have been. Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
Just they had to wait 2 weeks.
And then I think their plan was to go back in the closet, do the ritual, come out of the closet, and then time has passed and they're, good to go. They can take off with the money and no issue.
The people after 2 weeks give up searching for the
apparently
robbers.
That's like the statute of limitations.
Yeah, I guess so.
For burglary, it's $7 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
But doesn't go as planned. Once they get to the 2 week mark, there is a board on the door. It says, "Go to the mill."
Yeah.
They're not going to get back very easily.
Yeah.
And so they have to listen to this tape recorder and talk to the tape recorder.
Yeah.
And they hear a voice talking back to them about how there's going to be this thing or person that's going to come and they have to kill it. And they have like these instructions. And so they're
Otherwise they get wiped.
Yeah, they get wiped.
They get wiped out.
Yeah. No,
you didn't say out, you just said wiped.
Just wiped.
Yeah, just wiped.
Assuming it's wiped out, but you just said wiped. So I'm like, okay.
Get wiped. Then a year passes. They're waiting for this thing to come, and it's a whole year, and it hasn't come yet. And now they're acting kind of different, especially the male character. He kind of gets like obsessed, I guess, with the tape recorder. He's talking to it. It's not talking back to him. And then the thing shows up. Unless I'm missing something that you guys want to talk about. Well, we know that the brother, the male character, he like left his sister at some point in their life. She was going down the wrong path.
That's the thing. Yeah, and she was getting arrested.
Yeah.
And so it sounded like maybe he turned her in.
Oh, I didn't get that impression.
Oh.
So at one point before the person shows up, she does run out. Like she's like running away at one point, and suddenly she's like coughing up blood and she's like she passed. I don't
Yeah.
The first time I'm like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why are you like, why the further you go away from this place, like I guess you're like trapped in this area.
Yeah, there's like a border. Because then it
Just
showed like this like border of blood. So it was like, okay, anytime you go past that, you just start coughing up blood.
Until you just die. So
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that was the first time I was like, wait, why is she dying all of a sudden?
Yeah.
So she passes out and then wakes up and he's like standing over her. And then they go back inside the house. I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's over with.
We're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
They don't even mention it.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, we just have to.
Well, and
she doesn't
who
say
knows?
like, oh, like. I don't know. They didn't have a discussion.
Well, and like days go by, and so we don't know. Like, there's not a whole lot of like. There's only a few days where we actually see them have like conversation.
Full-on interaction.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I feel like there weren't enough days that we saw like substantial conversation or interactions.
Yeah.
So that kind of is part of what made me just not be super invested in the characters.
We know that she has a daughter who she's trying to get home to.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think that's the biggest thing that like gets like kind of pulls at your heart to want her to get back. But you know, aside from that, we don't really get to know them that well.
Yeah.
It's more just like mystery stuff.
Yeah. And we know he feels really bad for leaving her at some point, but she doesn't really think it's that big a deal.
Yeah.
But he has like a really guilty conscience about it. And I think like doing this robbery or whatever was his way of trying to, you know,
correct it.
Yeah.
Well, and so if we didn't finish describing the entire like cycle of the movie. But
yeah, well, this person comes. I was
gonna say something, and then I realized, well, we haven't even gotten to that yet. So I'll let you finish describing that.
The tone totally changed at a certain point.
Yeah.
In that movie.
Yeah.
When the stranger or whatever is just like, I think the brother is on the ground after he was shot or something. And this person just holds up a boombox, like music's playing. I'm like, all right.
Well, because she had talked about that song earlier about her mom, how her mom would play that song, and she hummed it, but it was like the way she hummed it. It was like, okay, we could barely hear what you even like hum. And like,
they should have picked a different song,
something, or at least something
obvious tune to it.
Or at least something that she, or at least had her like hum it a little bit more, you know, and like where we actually could pick up on what she was humming. You know, because I just put it together that like, oh, okay, that's the song she was talking about, and she kept flashing back to that memory of her mom at the piano, and then her mom doing the disc changer and whatever. And so that's what made her think that it was her mom that was the mystery person coming.
And the mystery person turns out to be her daughter grown up.
So
and her daughter says when she has the brother, and she can't talk, and so she's writing, and she says that the reason why she's there is to kill the person who killed my family, or find the man who killed my family. And so then you're like, okay. And I kept thinking it was going to be either it was going to be her, it was going to be the girl in some other time travel thing, or it was going to be something with like their family. Like either they said pretty definitively that it wasn't her mom. And so I wasn't super surprised when it was her daughter. I was more surprised that she recognized her as her daughter, because her daughter was only 6. And she recognized her as like a grown adult. Like, wow, she didn't like change much, you know, like, I don't know. Like,
they showed a picture of her and earlier in the movie, and I could tell.
I didn't remember.
They showed a picture of her. Now how she's there as this grown adult is another question. I don't know how she got there, or how she knew how to get there, or how she
I mean,
somehow
found
she
them, or-
got into this cycle. I'm guessing like her mom, she came to find her mom or something. She found some way of
Mhm.
knowing that.
That's what I
her-
mean. Like, I don't know how she did that, but
Yeah.
it
well,
happened.
the people that set this whole thing up brought them both into this little world, and so
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they could have brought
I
her.
feel like
It seemed like they didn't want her there, though. These
No.
like people that were orchestrating all of this.
They didn't want her there anymore because she like knew too much and was trying to
Yeah,
get rid of it, disrupt it.
Yeah,
mhm.
that's why they wanted her to be killed
Mm-hmm.
in order for them to be free, I guess.
Yeah, she wasn't supposed to find out about the place, I guess.
Yeah. So, then we learn that the brother is given multiple chances to try to right this. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing
Mhm.
multiple chances to kill the daughter, and it just never works out. And he's now like an old man going back to the beginning of the movie, meeting up at the diner and telling her about the house. And it seems like this has been a cycle that's been going on, and maybe things will be different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then he just kind of gives up.
Well, what he
Well,
does is he tells her not to go. He tells
Yeah.
her to go home to
Yeah.
your daughter, Sarah.
I don't
Mhm.
remember.
I think that was her daughter's name.
Yeah, it was
Steph.
it's an
Steph.
S,
Stephanie.
Steph.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Go home to Steph. That's what he was saying is don't.
Yeah, and she just kills him. Like, man.
So
I didn't
yeah,
ask
well,
that
he
part
was
was
questions.
confusing. That part was confusing because it was like she didn't want to kill him,
Yeah.
but he was like, "Kill me,"
Well-
and it was almost like he made her press the trigger.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like so the whole going back multiple times, I feel like was in every time he goes back, he kills her at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And so by her killing him, he can't kill her again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because that's
so
what
it
he
kind of
says.
stops the whole like time travel thing. It stops it because he can't no longer kill her. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
she's
and
free
doesn't
now
he
to
say? Doesn't he say like, "Kill me before I kill you" or something?
something like that because that's what's been
Before I
happening
kill
every
you
single
again
time.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the thing: is the movie that we watched, like obviously this is a movie, but like the part that we watched of him being there, I think that was already one of his past selves.
Probably, yeah.
Like, and
So this wasn't the first time.
This wasn't his
Mhm.
first time. That's why
No.
he figured the stuff out a
Yeah.
lot quicker.
Yeah.
And why she was like, tell me about the person who told you about this house and whatever. And he was like really like not wanting to tell her about
Yeah.
this person.
Mhm.
And he like when they first like they were supposed to be going to the closet and doing their thing. She went there and it said go to the mill, but he had already
Yeah.
gone to the mill.
Yeah. it's
And
like
so
he
it was
knew.
like he already knew. And then he was trying to stop her from going and seeing. And then he was like, he magically figured everything out really, really quick.
Yeah, about the right, left, and
and-
middle.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
like was explaining to her with the like no, like not wanting her to talk in it and like
Mhm.
and knew exactly what to do, put it back in here and then take it out and like
Mhm.
he knew right away. And so then he also like right away was like, oh, it wasn't her who, she was trapped here too, or whatever, that body. Like
Mhm.
he like right away, like, I don't know, he just put things together really,
Yeah.
really
Mhm.
quick.
Yeah.
And so I think that was like a past or
Because
a,
he's been stuck there for a while at that
Yeah.
point, probably.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I guess
Mhm.
that's kind of like the twist, I guess, is he like we knew it was a time travel dimension thing,
Yeah.
but we didn't know that he had already been through this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
And we don't
It's
know
not-
for sure
yeah,
that
it's not
that
clear,
was,
but-
but it just seems like that would make sense.
but why would he if that wasn't his first time, he seemed to be genuine when he was like, let me try again. Like, like, I don't know.
And
it seemed to be new to him.
Yeah. I mean, that's true too, because he also was like, when are they ever going to come? Are they really going to come?
Yeah.
But at the same time,
maybe it's
she kept questioning him.
Mhm.
Like, she kept questioning him, like, I feel like, because she was questioning whether he knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
She felt like, you seem like you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so she kept feeling like he was in on it.
Yeah.
And then he was talking to the tape player, and whatever, and he made this whole shrine and everything. Like, he was like, had this like connection with it.
Yeah.
While she was like, what are you doing all this time? Why are you all so obsessed? You spend more time talking to them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And so, I don't know. I feel like there's a reason why she was suspicious. And we didn't get to see that 365 days.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, something that's different about this movie, if that's true, that he had already been through this in the past, and what we saw was just one of those times. Usually those types of movies with the time loops, we see like the same thing happen, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
Mm-hmm.
we see the first day, and then the day repeats over and over, and we see the same things, and they try to do something different, but it always ends up the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This time we got to see that one of the times, and toward the end, then we realize, oh, he is in a time loop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The time loop is not clear throughout the movie.
Yeah. And I kind of like
different.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
It's
kind of
different
like
for
that.
a time loop type movie.
Yeah. And even when you do watch the time loop movies, usually it is a little bit different each time.
Right. It is.
Things
Because they
will
try
be
to do different.
Yeah.
They try to do something different to change
Yeah.
how it turns out, but it
Yeah.
always ends up the same.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So things will be different.
Yeah.
And the
each
thing
time.
with those regular time loop movies is it's usually one day.
Yeah.
This just continues on until he kills her, basically. Which which in this one took about a year, a year to do. But who knows how long or little time it was for the other ones, or
That was just this one time.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, maybe that's why he was so frustrated this time,
Mhm.
because maybe she usually comes a lot quicker.
Mhm.
And so it doesn't usually take a year,
And he was about to kill her, and then she ended up jumping in front.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah.
that's not fair. I didn't expect that to happen.
Well, and when he asks them to let him try again, he says, can you give me one more chance or something, where it's like, oh, so maybe this is not your first one more chance.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe you can save and continue.
Yeah.
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 Maybe that other short is
maybe they're
Yeah. Can I like hit
I save my progress?
Hit the save progress area?
I did like the end, the way that they did it, where he went to the diner as like his current self.
Yeah.
And then you don't see, but you can tell like he's aged.
Yeah.
And he's trying to he's trying to get her to go away.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want her to try to go with him.
Yeah.
And then you go down like the barrel of the gun, you see that he's an older man now.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I liked that.
That was a cool way to do that transition.
Because at first I was like, so it's only been like a year later. How does she not recognize him? I didn't catch on to that, and so I did.
Been like
that
20
was
years
cool.
later.
Yeah. And so that was pretty cool. I was confused. I was kind of confused at the whole process of like him killing himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he killed himself in the woods.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
didn't
why
get
wasn't
that.
she
Yeah.
with him in
Yeah.
that moment?
Yeah, because that's
Because in the original timeline that we were watching, she was with him when they discovered that tent. She was the one who pointed out the tent. So she should have been there with him
At
in
that
time.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I'm not
that
sure.
part was
Yeah, it
confusing
I forgot
to
about
me.
that.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
discussed. Huh. Maybe in one of the time things he's just hanging out there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, because like he was supposed to go back to the beginning of that day,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't have gone through the tent area until after he met
After
up
the
with
diner.
her
Yeah.
at the diner.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
why did he end up that way?
That
I forgot about that part too.
that
Um,
one.
But
So when you
maybe
rewatch
because
this,
actually
Yeah.
it's because that was the old man one that needed to kill the new one. That needed I don't know.
yeah, because I mean, why would there be two of them in the first place? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That part was weird. So yeah, Joel, you're gonna have to pay attention to that when you rewatch it.
I will. So the thing that sucks about how it ends though is so she's basically gonna go back to see her daughter, but they've already robbed the bank. Plus, she's killed her brother. So you hear the cop call the sirens in the background.
Yeah.
How is she gonna get away?
Well, we
There's a
don't know
witness
that
there, too.
she robbed the bank or whatever.
And he said to leave the money there.
Yeah. We don't know
And
that she was part of
so
that.
she
But there's still a witness to a murder.
Doing murder.
Of the murder.
Yeah.
Now, and we do know that when her daughter gets older, she ends up in this place and her family has been killed.
Yeah.
So,
well, in that
Maybe.
time, yeah.
But
So
if he
if
never
she
has
goes
her
back
go-
and never goes in this,
Yeah.
it never
Let's get
gets
the
involved
sequel.
in this cabin in the first place, then it changes her daughter's future.
Maybe.
Because
I don't know. Because maybe
unless her mom gets killed in a different way.
Yeah, because maybe the daughter
I love time travel
is
movies
in.
because of this. It's
And
ridiculous, but it's fun to try to figure out. Like,
yeah, because I think the daughter she's in her original timeline, right? Like she's in that like the timeline that hasn't been disrupted, and maybe like that timeline that she's living in already had her mom not getting involved in this, like already had her going back and raising her, and then she's killed for some other reason.
Yeah, and that's why she's 20 years older.
Yeah.
And going into this.
Yeah.
Because her mom did end up getting killed in the timeline that we see at the end.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That I don't know if anybody was able to follow what we were saying.
Yeah.
But
So
you gotta watch
some of
it.
the things that like it was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna buy this is like one, the whole desk thing and like where these people even come from and how like that whole dimension stuff is like, okay, so I guess we're just buying this. Two, the tape player, like, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like, all that. And then the safe just popping up whenever it's needed.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Like-
safe was in 2 different places at one point.
Yeah. And it's like bolted to the floor and like always the same combination though.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it's like all these little things that is just
It's just part of the genre, you know.
yeah. And that's
Kinda
stuff
is.
that I'm like, I was kind of looking forward to it when she was saying, okay, so is it quantum physics? And like she's like trying to figure it out. And I'm like, yeah, let's try to figure
Let's get a
out what is
rational
actually
explanation.
happening here.
I was
like
during that I was thinking Indian burial ground because that's usually the go-to for like these type of like ridiculous things that happen. It's
yeah.
the Indian burial ground at one point. So
Yeah.
they didn't go there, so I'm glad about that. I'm happy about that.
There was some like World War stuff and everything.
Yeah,
Like,
talk about the Korean War and how nobody after the Korean War ever like stepped foot into the house, and that's when they took over. But that was just one of her many theories, so I don't know if that was supposed to.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. That kind of stuff is just like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna have to buy this, or that's why I like something like Tenet better, because Tenet actually like explains this stuff, and it gets like really, yeah.
Okay.
I love trying to figure out time travel. I don't know. It's something that will never actually happen, but it's fun when I see it in movies.
Yeah. We should review Donnie Darko sometime.
That would be I would love to watch that again.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
That's the next one.
A lot of theories with that movie and a lot of different ways to interpret. So, all right. Well, let's end it here. Things will be different.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. Go check it out.
Yeah.
If you, for some reason, are still watching.
And
you haven't
watched it
yet.
Yeah, you're probably thoroughly confused, but maybe you can make more sense of it than we were able to, knowing, hearing what we have had to say.
Yeah.
So maybe you'll enjoy it. But yeah, that's it.
This has been Scare Talk.
Sleep tight.
Don't let
Steph
bite. Yeah.
Yeah.